Hey, what's good, everybody? Comment, like, subscribe, share the video. So, this whole Aries Spears DJ Vlad situation, it looks like it might be coming down to an end, and I hope it is over. I'm getting kind of tired of it, to be honest with you. So, a little while ago, Aries challenged Vlad. He said, "Hey, I'll come back on Vlad TV, and you don't even gotta pay me, and I challenge you. Let me get back on there." And then Vlad saw that, and Vlad agreed. Vlad asked Aries, "Hey, when do you want to come on?" He said, give me 48 hours, I'll give you an answer." So he gave him the 48 hours. The 48 hours came up, and Aries changed his mind. And this does look bad on Aries' part because he should have never made that damn challenge. Because if you make the challenge, you gotta go through with it because you gotta be a man of your word, and it makes you look a certain kind of way in people's eyes. But he should have never made the challenge in the first place because honestly, he was going off of emotion. He probably just saw that interview, the hour-long interview where Vlad was talking crap about him. So he was like, you know what? I'm gonna go back on there and I'm gonna speak my part. But doing that it wasn't gonna solve anything. What was it truly gonna solve? It's just gonna be you and Vlad going back and forth, yelling at each other with no proof, just screaming at one another, and Vlad is gonna get paid off of that because it's gonna be on his platform, and you're gonna get nothing, and probably people are still gonna talk crap because people are just gonna talk crap just cause. Like, this whole thing, it's kind of been crazy seeing people talk crap on Aries and like just been perfectly fine with what Vlad has been doing, which to me is crazy. I'm not saying Aries doesn't talk crap and hasn't had you know a past where that he's done things like this whole talking bad on people in the South and all that kind of stuff. I'm not saying that he's an innocent person. I'm just saying that it's very frustrating seeing people only talk about Aries like he's the scumbag, while Vlad, oh yeah, no, Vlad is winning. Like if if I haven't seen comments previously where they were telling, yo, Vlad, shut the hell up. People are in the interview are talking. Vlad, stop doing this. Vlad, stop doing that. Now everybody's like on Vlad's side. It makes no damn sense. For me, I'm the type that, what's wrong is wrong, what's right is right. So I'm more on every side than Vlad's side because Vlad was the one that started the whole problem, just talking crap on him. Again, if y'all want to talk about business, y'all can talk about business, but think about this as a business person. Vlad is very emotional because if he's truly about business, he wouldn't emotionally have gotten so upset to say F Aries and I'm gonna do this. That's not a businessman thing. That's just an emotional man thing. But for those people that want to say, oh, it's business wise, why would he want to pay him more and all this and that? Okay, I understand that. Vlad doesn't have to pay him more, but at the same time, Aries is allowed to ask for more money. And Vlad was the one that put the numbers out there. Boozy, yes, Boozy was the one that said, hey, I want to get paid more money. But Vlad was the one that threw out the exact numbers. He didn't have to throw out the exact numbers. He could have just said, look, Boozy wants to get paid $5,000 more on top of what I'm already paying him, and I'm paying him a good amount of money. He didn't have to say the exact amount. He could have left that to Boozy. Now, if Boozy was to be like, I got paid 25,000 and I want 5,000 more, then that's that whole situation. But he didn't have to do that. And I said it in my previous video, and I'll say it again. Vlad should have had NDAs on this stuff. Like, you ain't allowed to talk about how much you get paid because not everybody's gonna get paid the same. And I bet you if you would have talked nicely and kindly with Aries, it probably could have worked out that way. But he didn't want to do that. I felt like he had some sort of issues already with Aries, so that's why no matter what, he was gonna crap on Aries. I think Aries, if spoken to correctly, Aries would have been like, you know what, you can't pay it, that's fine, man. We can continue doing what we're doing, or he could have just been like, you know what, nah, I can't do it no more, and they could have just mutually separated without any drama. But Vlad is who Vlad is, so he always likes drama when there's situations like this. Like, look what he did with Godfrey, which we're gonna get into in a little bit. But yeah, this wasn't going to prove anything. So Aries making that decision of of challenging him was a very bad one because it's going to make him look a certain kind of way, and he wasn't going to solve anything. The smart choice was when he, after those 48 hours where he said, no, I'm not going to do it. And then, here, typical Vlad acting like the tough guy, called him a pussy, even though when the whole thing was in the process of maybe happening, first thing Vlad said was, well, I'm going to make sure security's there. So who's really the pussy? Again, this wasn't like it was a fight. It was a, challenge for a fight. That's one thing, but it wasn't. It was just going to be an interview and you were going to have security there. So let's not act like you're the big tough guy, Vlad. That's one of the major things that upsets me about Vlad is that he talks like he's that guy, and he's not that guy. I mean, I'm not a tough guy, but I'm not out here going, yo, who the want to mess with me? I don't talk that way because I'm not that guy. Obviously everybody has a point where you got to defend yourself. You ain't got a choice. You got to do what you got to do. But I'm not that guy, so I don't do that kind of stuff. And Vlad is not that guy. We all know he's not that guy, but he likes to talk like he is. I think one of the major problems as well with him is that he has people that amp him up, give him that energy to feel that he's that guy. Like during the interviews that he's posted, attacking Aries, he's had three people interview him. One was DJ Academics, which I think he was just trying to show off for DJ Academics because I'll give this to Academics. He wasn't trying to egg on the whole drama. He was actually trying to like see it in a like Switzerland type, very neutral type way. But Takashi and Charleston White, yo, those guys are trolls. So he like built off of their energy. He was like, yo, F Aries, F them, F, like he tries to show off a lot. And I think when he had those people there, they egged him on even more so that he could just continue spewing out, tough guy, like, oh yeah, I'll beat him up, blah blah blah. He'll do this, he'll do that. Like calm down, man. You're not that guy, like I said. Now I'm not gonna do this whole video make y'all think that this is nonstop hate for DJ Vlad, because I don't have hate for the dude like that. It's just that, again, I see online how everybody's on Vlad's side. I don't play that. I try to see both sides on the situation, and I'm more neutral. I'm like I said about Academics. I'm trying to see things in a neutral way. If they could have kept this thing as just business, Aries wanted more money. Vlad didn't see the numbers working that way. We could have kept it that way, but they didn't have to get disrespectful. That's why I was on Aries' side, because Vlad kept it disrespectful. But again, I don't have hatred for Vlad like that. As a matter of fact, he was recently on the 5150 show, and I thought he was funny on there. It surprised me because Vlad, I think, is not, I guess he's trying to get that attention, which he does do in his interviews. He tries to get more attention in his own interviews than the guests that he has on there. That's why people in the comments always like, yo, be quiet, Vlad, let him talk, and all this and that, because Vlad tries to get in front of the camera. But I'm not gonna lie to you, during the 5150 show, he was pretty funny. I enjoyed the interactions between him and Corey Holcomb. I thought it was pretty good. I just hated the fact that they got together off a hatred of others, because it was the problems with Aries that brought these two trolls together. Because I mean, I love Corey Holcomb. He's hilarious, but we cannot act like he doesn't have issues with everybody. If you ignore that, then you are just being blinded, because or you're completely biased towards Corey Holcomb. Like, because there's no way that you don't see that the common denominator is Corey Holcomb. Like, it's always some sort of problem with somebody, and then there's Corey Holcomb. It's like, he, as much as people like to talk, that Aries likes to bring problems because he talks a lot, Corey Holcomb is the same way. So, just being honest. But again, very entertaining interview on the 5150 show. I enjoyed it very much. It was very funny. So it makes me look forward to Corey Holcomb being on Vlad TV. I hope it really does happen. Because I would love to find out more on from Corey in the style that Vlad likes to do his interviews. It would be enjoyable. I would love to see that. But during the whole 5150 show, I'm surprised that it didn't get worse for Aries. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be, considering you got two people here that have problems with Aries. And actually, at one point, Vlad actually stood up for Aries. He was saying he didn't enjoy that Aries got beat up on the 5150 show. It bothered him, that whole situation. And I don't know if that was, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it could have just him. It could have been Vlad just bringing it up just to, as a jab, like, you got beat up on here, or if he truly felt that way. And I felt like he truly felt that it bothered him. So, at least that was a little bit of you know, a point for Vlad, having sticking up for Aries a bit. But the whole surprise of the interview was the problems that they both have with Godfrey. I don't know why Godfrey just was brought up like that, but he got brought up. And since he got brought up, it just became a whole, Godfrey this, Godfrey that, Godfrey this, Godfrey that on both ends. And again, another guy right there that I think is very funny, Godfrey, and I enjoy what he does, but he's not talking about y'all. Why are y'all talking about him? That's the problem. This is the issue that I have with Corey Holcomb is just that he doesn't let things go. He just continues with drama and bringing people in that have already moved past that. And Godfrey's one of those guys. He's moved past this, and now Corey Holcomb and Vlad now together talking on Godfrey. It's like there was no need for that. Yeah, like I said, I'm just tired of this problems back and forth nonstop. Just stop the fighting. It's ridiculous. There's always problems. If you want to become the top act, if you want to become like a Kevin Hart status, you gotta stop the bullshit. You ain't never gonna get TV shows and movies if y'all always bickering with each other over the dumbest things. Like, like the amazing movies and TV shows and tours that could be possible if y'all was to come together, but it never happens because there's always somebody hating on somebody else over some dumb shit. It's freaking ridiculous. I would hope that one day all these guys could put this stuff past them, but I think it's not gonna happen. It's a lot of these guys are just too prideful. It's funny that they were talking about the whole Kevin Hart roast and how Kevin Hart and Cat Williams squashed their beef and how cool that was. Yet Corey's can never do that. And he was just talking about the fact that, oh, you're getting older, we can't have these problems out there yet. He still has these problems. Like you can't say one thing and then do the complete opposite, man. You gotta lead by example. You gotta if you're gonna be talking about how great that is between Kevin and Kat to put their problems aside, you should probably do the same. And I know on Aries' part, he wants that problems behind him, but I know Corey will probably never put that behind him. And I guess I'll speak on that whole fight situation. That was just very bad, but very badly done, I guess. And I guess Corey takes part in that. He says that he didn't have security at that time. They were drinking. It wasn't as professional as it is now. That's kind of laughable to say considering what happened with Anton not that long ago. But still, it's more professional now than it was back then. And Zoe Williams was the one that attacked Aries. But during that whole entire time, I remember watching that, and during that time, it was just like a whole back and forth between the two. Obviously, like I said, alcohol was involved, but it was a back and forth between the two. They made it sound as if Aries was the one looking for problems, wanted problems, and it was all on him, but it was not. If you watch it and you are not biased. They're just like, oh, I have to have love for Aries only, or I have to have love for Corey only. If you just watch it and try to be real, you will see it that it was on both ends. It wasn't just Aries causing problems. It was both sides causing problems because they were both drinking heavily. And the issue even came up. I believe it was they were talking about President Obama and how Corey and Zoe was saying that Barack didn't do shit for the black people, and Aries was saying, "Man, get the hell out of here," because he's the very first black president. He's doing the best that he can, and he's making it so that when the next black president comes through, he doesn't have as many eyes on him because you know because of what because he's the first. Right now, since Obama was the first, he had so many eyes on him, he could only do so much. And honestly, in my opinion, I think he did a decent job considering what we currently have and how this whole presidency stuff even works. Obama didn't do that bad of a job. I know there's a lot of people wishing he was in office again right now. But anyways, this is besides the point. Corey and Zoe were so anti-Obama, and their points were bad points. Aries had decent points, but again, alcohol, and then the disagreement eventually became, man, shut the F up, suck my, and then eventually that turned into the whole let me swing on you. And it became what it became. But to me, Zoe and Corey were more in the wrong. They were more in the wrong because they were wrong in the argument, and they were again attacking the guest. If Aries is the guest, why are you trying to get it to that level? Corey said that he didn't think it would turn into that, but you got to take responsibility for the dude you have on your show as well. So you can't say that it was all Aries, because it wasn't. It really wasn't. And since it was what it was, and Aries himself has said that he wants to move past this, he should drop it too. I'm not telling you be best friends, go on tour or something like that, but stop talking about the man. Just move past each other, and that's it. If it gets brought up, like, hey, do you think he's funny? It is what it is. I know on Aries' side, Aries thinks that Corey's hilarious. He's a great comedian. That's what he thinks. But Corey, on the other hand, will crap on Aries nonstop in every kind of way. And I don't know how truthful it is what Corey says about his comedy, because again, Corey's the type that if he doesn't mess with you, he'll crap even on your even on your comedy. And yeah, so I guess apparently he doesn't think that Aries is that funny, and it is what it is. I just wish all these guys would grow up and move past this. Like I said, Aries on his side, he wants to. Corey, I don't know if he'll ever do that. And again, Godfrey, he's been past all this because Corey's been talking about him, but he has been ignoring it. I don't know if Godfrey plans on replying now that Vlad decided to jump in and along with Corey to talk about him. So we'll see how that goes. But I know Godfrey is the type to not care what they think, because he is past that. He's more evolved, and and that's a good way to be. That's a good way to be. But let me know in the comments what y'all think. Like always, comment, like, subscribe, share the video.